Good morning, Lifestyle is Healthers. It is 11 o'clock and it is coffee time. I hope you've got your coffee with you and with the delightful Diane Drassingoen this morning, folks. Diane is a superstar. Welcome, Diane, to our little group. How are you this morning?
Thank you for inviting me, Vicky. And yes, I'm really good. Feeling good. It's been a manic week, but I'm feeling good. It's Friday.
Fantastic. So we met in a networking group, didn't we? And I absolutely love what you do. Diane, as I put in the little intro to this, it's all things chemical, toxin free and householdy stuff. That's what I put. So do you
That's perfect. Perfect.
Brilliant. So do you want to let people know what it is that you actually do? Because you don't just do one thing, do you? You do multiple things.
No, I do wear a lot of hats during the week, that's for certain. But certainly when we met at 4N, my hat on that particular day and today, but I will share other bits, is Norwex. So those that you don't know who Norwex are, they were a company set up in Norway. And Norwex comes from the word Norwegian experience. And I'll read you a little bit about it just because it's easier for me to read it than it is for me to try and remember it because I jabber on. But basically, Norway is actually one of the most environmentally friendly countries in the world. And as it's known for its forests, isn't it? Its fjords, the fresh air. So actually, we're quite proud to have those roots within Norwex. So 27 years ago, they started transforming homes into what they call safe havens. So reducing all of the chemicals, getting rid of all the waste that we produce and being able to clean your home with just cleaning cloths and water alone. And that's how they started off with their EnviroCloth, and then it's grown from there, and they've added other products. So we have got cleaning and laundry products. They've just not got those toxic chemicals in that we both know cause lots of damage to our own health as well as to the environment. And now doing hair products and sort of beauty products, and it's been a massive learning curve for me since I joined in November.
Brilliant. And the thing that I like about it is that, as you said, Norway has always been streets ahead when it's come to looking after the environment and recycling and all that kind of stuff. And when it comes to even food and the diet that they eat, but just the knowledge that they have had about how damaging chemicals are, not just to the environment, but to us as human beings, from an endocrine system point of view. And as most of my people who are in this group know, that they affect our ability to think clearly, and they affect weight loss. They affect whether we get symptoms really badly when we're ill or not, because they affect our immune system. So Norwex itself is quite diverse, isn't it? And so how do we find out about their products? Do you have a website? Because you've been doing some demonstrations, haven't you? I've been seeing. So tell us where.
You know what? That was the most frightening thing I did the first time I did a Facebook Live. I was like, oh my God, I can't do this. I'm just not that person. But I think because of lockdown and we've been doing Zooms, I just kept thinking, just pretend you're on a Zoom. Don't think about who might be watching you. Just pretend. And that really worked. So if anybody out there is actually wanting to do a live and petrified like I was, just do it and just think that you're doing a chat like we are, but not think about it being out there live. But yes, I've got a Facebook. It is. It's quite scary, isn't it? But yeah, my Facebook group is Diane's Eco-Friendly Group. So I can put a link for you to share that. And I do a live on Tuesday at 5 o'clock. I do have a website, and I'll give you the link to that, and you can go on and see all of our products. And those that do prefer the paper copies, we have got a paper copy of the brochure. And what I did learn on a 4N4 site recently is actually by using paper, it's not quite as bad for the environment as we thought. Because actually all this cloud storage and all of this zooming is causing other environmental issues because of all of the energy it's using and it's being stored somewhere. So that was a bit of an eye-opener for me, actually. So I'm thinking, actually, paper can be recycled. It's often made from recycled paper. So actually, and it's not burning down rainforests that we've always thought, because that's hardwood, not softwood. So
and
I've learned a lot.
This is the stuff that we kind of realize and we learn as we go, isn't it? Because we listen to so much stuff, especially through social media, and we get the idea that this is correct information. And actually, what I'm trying to help people to understand in this group is that there's correct information at the time, but information changes as we learn more and know more. And the whole COVID thing has been a prime example of that, because the only way we can learn more about stuff is through time, and you can't speed up time, so it takes time for us to learn more. But we can literally learn more about the virus, how it spreads, who is worst affected and why. And we can only do that by looking back at what we've done. And it's the same, isn't it? But we all thought, ditch the paper because you're ruining rainforests. But as you say now, we weren't thinking about the effect that it would have with all the cloud storage. So that's a brilliant snippet. Talking of the whole COVID situation, and you said that you started Norwex in November. So throughout the start of the first lockdown, were you working? Were you doing other stuff? Tell people how it was for you, especially that first one when it was a bit shock to everybody.
Yeah, that first one back in March was a hell of a shock to the system. I was in the process. I've got a laundry and ironing business. That's always been my main business, and that's been running for 6 years. And I started that from home, grew it up to, we had 10 part-time staff last March.
Wow.
We were looking at moving premises to a bigger premises. I supported adults with learning difficulties to get into work, taught them independent living skills, how to wash, dry and iron their own clothes, understand what the labels were, all those sorts of things. And we were going at the speed of knots, really, working 24/7, but loving every minute of it. And then lockdown hit. I'd got my own son living at home who'd got profound disabilities. He came back to live with me because the care home he was in was going into some work needed doing. It was shut in for 3 months. There was nowhere else suitable to meet his needs. And I said, I'd rather him be home. I had a plan in the back of my head, if I'm honest, Vicky, because as much as they cared for him at that particular home, it wasn't right. You know, when you just know something's not right. And if anybody out there has got anybody with a disability, it's bloody hard work fighting the local authorities to get anything. But my plan in the back of my mind,
away now, going, oh my goodness.
Oh, is there? Because there is. And so I thought, if he's at home with me, it's going to be easier to put him into a new care home than it will be to try and move him from a care home to a care home, because my battle would be his needs are being met where he is. Whereas if he came home, I know that I personally can't meet his needs long term on my own because of he's 2-to-1 support. He needs a lot of help. I'm not going to dwell on his disabilities, but I knew I couldn't cope. And he's 25 actually in 2 days. And I couldn't do that forever. So he was living at home with us. We'd got his new place all sorted and he was due to move in there sort of about March, April time. And then COVID started creeping up, and he's a vulnerable person. So I would hate for him to catch COVID. That would just be really unthinkable. So he was at home. Jack, our middle son, he was kind of flitting between here and Manchester, where his girlfriend was at uni. He was working in Manchester, living here, sleeping some nights, as 20-odd-year-olds do. You never know whether they're in or out, do you? But just if he turned up, he did, and if he didn't, he didn't. And then the youngest one was at uni in Leicester. So that 23rd of March, or whatever it was, came. I said to Jack, look, you've either got to stay here or stay at your girlfriend's. I said, you can't be backwards and forwards. Georgia, we've come from split relationships. So Georgia was like, went to live with her mum, which was absolutely fine. And we'd got Robert at home. 3 months off work I had. I've never had 3 days off work, Vicky, in my life. So 3 months. And you know what? And I feel awful saying this because I know a lot of bad things have happened to a lot of people, but it's the best 3 months that could have happened, because it really made me think about what I'd been doing, where my life was going, how I was dealing with stuff, and how bloody hard I was working, and how much hours I was working. So
brilliant.
I think
just to pick up on that point, I think sometimes we look at change, don't we, Diane, and think it's a bad thing. But when we're forced into change that we have no control over, it actually gives us opportunities to do the stuff that we just don't make the time to do. Maybe because we daren't, or because we don't think that we need to, because we're okay on the trajectory that we're on. But when you're actually forced to actually take stock and just go, actually, this has made me look at stuff that I've never looked at and realize that although I thought I might have been happy doing that, it actually isn't what I want to keep on doing. So it's brilliant. And I know we've touched on this with quite a few people, and you're absolutely right. For a lot of people, lockdown's been a horrible experience. But for a lot of people, we've turned that disadvantage that we originally thought it was going to be into a positive, and it's helped us to just become much happier. Would you agree in who we are and what we're doing?
It really, really has. So, I mean, that didn't happen in the first week. That took quite a few of weeks for that to dawn on me. And then there was the uncertainty once we started. That first 3 months was over. I couldn't go back to work when everybody else did because Robert was still living at home. Right. I had to close the premises because we were supposed to be moving out into a bigger one. Changed my mind on that. So I opened in July my ironing business when Robert moved out into his new care home, when we felt it was safe for him to move into that care home. By that time, I did gain quite a bit of weight in those 3 months because we were eating really well, because we've got time to cook nice food, and we were having 3 like big meals a day, not like small ones. So the pounds were creeping on. I hadn't have as much time to go and exercise because I was caring for Robert at home. So once he moved out in July, I thought, right, it's my time now. 25 years I've cared for him, well, in 2 days. And I'm not going to lie, it's been bloody hard work at times. Totally enjoyable, made me who I am, but I've been permanently knackered for 25 years. So I thought, right, I need to look after myself now. So the business was started to pick back up, working from home, started going running, started a fitness class, met somebody just like you locally that helped me with nutrition, stopped drinking as much bloody alcohol because I drink too much wine. So since July to now, I've lost 1.5 stone. My body size and shape has never been better. My physical health and mental health has never been better. And I feel like I'm in a fantastic place. And I'm loving that feeling. It's absolutely brilliant. And then, sorry, I feel like I'm driving on, but I am so happy to be happy. That sounds awful.
A lot of us want to hear about how other people have found it, and the fact that you're sharing that you, like a lot of people, did start to drink too much and overate because you had the time to actually care about preparing meals and enjoy them. But then you get to the point where you go, hang on, now it's my time, and that sudden realization that you've been caring for everybody else all this time. And now it's time for you. And when you actually give yourself that space and discover that actually it's quite fun getting fit when you choose to do what you want to do. And
it really is.
Yeah, and you feel great for doing it. And from the sound of it, you were in the right space and you chose the right stuff so that you didn't feel that you were under pressure to do it, which is the way it should be. And once you feel how good that feels, you just want to keep going, don't you?
Well, it's addictive. I mean, I feel like I wasn't addicted to alcohol, but it was a habit. It was a habit I did every night. And my excuse was, I've had a busy day. I'm a mum of 3. Yes, they're older teenagers, but especially with Rob, I'm knackered. I'll have a glass of wine. It'll help me relax. I'll stop. And I think I sold that to myself as well as everybody else. Whereas now, it doesn't even appeal to me to have a glass of wine in the evening, if I'm honest. I did have a glass of Prosecco last night. I'm going to lie totally, but that's not on a regular basis. Whereas before it was almost every night, and it was a habit. Cooking tea, have a glass of wine, and then, I'll have another one. And before I knew it, I'd drink a bottle quite well. And then once you
resonate, can't they, with that, just becoming that thing that, we create our habits, but we create them because they're quite enjoyable at the time. And it was quite relaxed. And you just kind of get into that flow, and then, as you say, you suddenly realize that 1 glass becomes 2, 2 becomes 3, then suddenly a bottle's gone, and it's like, oh crikey, I'm doing this every night. But for you to explain to people that now, in this short space of time, you don't really even think about it, you don't miss it, and you can have it when you want it, but it's no big deal.
Exactly, it's no big deal, and I can go into the shop now and nip and get some milk, but it was such a habit of going to the shop, pass the wine, get a bottle of wine. I think I must have, the staff must have known no issues again with another bloody bottle. but the exercise now is addictive, and if I don't do it, I feel really grumpy because I've not had that run or I've not had that exercise session, and my skin feels so much better. But strangely enough, I started Norwex in November, and I've not used any chemicals in the house now for cleaning. I've changed my washing powder, so there's no additional chemicals in there. And I've lost more weight since Christmas, really, than till now. And yes, I've been exercising more. Yes, I've cut back on the wine, but I've been doing that between July and Christmas. But the weight loss between Christmas and now has been phenomenal, really. I've lost, I think I worked out it was 6.5 kilos since January, which is the bulk of the weight. And it can't all be down to just the diet and exercise, because I was doing that before. So whether it's the chemicals, I'm sleeping better, I'm not snoring like I used to. And so all these little things, I mean, I don't know I was snoring before, but I was quite frequently prodded in the night. It's like, wow, stop snoring, roll over. Oh, my phone's ringing. Let me just turn that off. That's not good. That wasn't planned, was it? It shows we're live, yes. Someone's probably, I've seen you on Facebook. So yes.
What are you actually doing now in regards to on a regular basis? Have you kind of got a routine now, or are you still playing around with what works?
No, I've got a brilliant routine. So my ironing business is smaller than it was, but I'm keeping it that way. I'm not going to grow it again. I don't want the pressure of staff. I don't want the pressure of anything else. So I iron 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but I try and finish at 2 on a Friday. 2 days a week I work for an accountant friend of mine in her office. I took that on because she was getting busier and needed support, and we've got a really good working relationship. We've been friends for 12-13 years, trusts me completely to be able to look at some of the more sensitive things that perhaps she wouldn't necessarily want other staff to see. I really enjoy that balance of having a reason to get dressed up and go to the office, or on Zoom, because you feel, I mean, I'm not so dressed up today. So that's my routine. I'm not working evenings and weekends anymore. I'm actually more financially better off because I've not got all the overheads of the business. Norwex is really, really doing well to bringing me that additional income to give me the nice things in life that I can afford to see a pair of jeans and buy them, go horse riding, do what I want. So, yeah, I feel like I've got to pinch myself at the moment because life just feels like it's too good and something's going to happen to make it go wrong, because that's what I've always experienced in the past. So I just assume that's what's going to happen, but I'm hoping it won't.
No, well, and I'm so glad that you shared that, because I think a lot of people do think that way when things are too good to be true. But the reality is you've just described that you created this. It wasn't suddenly handed to you on a plate. You created this. So it's not going to suddenly do a poof and disappear, right? Because you made decisions not to grow your business. You've made the choice to not work evenings and weekends. You have made the choice to get fit and feed yourself well and enjoy the exercise. So yes, it's our past experience, and there's a certain part of your brain that is going to tell you it's too good to last. But the reality is that that's a load of porcupines, and it's just your brain telling you fairy stories, because you aren't yet used to the fact that this is your new reality. Right. But the longer you live it and the more you realize that actually, I am in charge and I did create this. It didn't just happen. The more you'll give yourself permission to believe that it isn't too good to be true. It just is true.
Yeah, that's a really good way of thinking about it, Vicky, to be honest, because I haven't had control over the last 25 years of Robert's disability, and I haven't had control of the battles I've had to fight. I've just had to fight them. And I am the stubborn mule. And if I'm going to do something, I'll do it. And if it kills me, I'll do it. But I've had to for him, because I've had to make sure he's had his needs met properly. And I was passionate that he did, and others like him, because sometimes when you do something for your own son in that situation, you open the floodgates for other people, because think, actually, if she's done that, we can do it as well.
And this is why I so wanted you to come on, because we've got people who are in our audience who do have disabilities in family members, whether it's children, whether it's parents, it doesn't matter, does it, how old they are?
No, of course it doesn't.
But when you have that, it's very, very difficult for anybody who's not experienced it to know how hard it is. And there is always, and every family will say the same thing as you, I'm sure, you're always up against brick walls and fights. And you're kind of going, well, surely if I'm doing this, then other people must have struggled with this. But it's only the 1% of people like yourself who decide to help other people and don't keep that struggle to themselves and just go, actually, no, let me help others with this as well, and let's try and change things. And it's because of people like you that things do get changed. And so this is why I wanted to bring you on, because I find that you're just an inspiration. And
thank you.
You've reiterated what we know, that toxins, chemicals, and all of the crap in our cleaning stuff and that we put on our bodies does affect hormone balance, and that includes how we lose weight. And you've just explained to people that maybe that might be the missing piece for them if they're really, really struggling. So just to wind things up, how I'm going to ask people, where's the best place to connect with you? Let people know where to find you, where it's quick to find you and have a chat if they want to.
Facebook is probably the best. I do sort of, I'm on there most days, and yes, so Facebook is the best. I'm Diane Mitchell Brassington. I've got my maiden name in there because I linked up with some friends from school, and I found that was the best way to be found. Yeah, so I'm not posh with a double. That's not an official double-barreled name. It's just I stuck my maiden name in there to be found. So, and I've got a page for my Westbury ironing business, but like I said, I'm not really expanding that, and probably a lot of these guys aren't going to be local anyway. But the Norwex can be bought up and down the country and even into Europe and across the world, in all fairness. So my website, you can purchase wherever you live. Brilliant.
Diane, it's been a joy. You're going to send me those links and I will put them above the video. Thank you so much for chatting with me.
No, thank you.
And I will hope to see you doing a little bit of a workout with me perhaps very soon.
Yes, I'm coming to join the yoga because I've never done that and I need to just be more supple, I think.
Hey, so, fantastic. So Monday, 7 a.m. I'll see you then.
You
Have
will.
a great weekend.
Thanks, Vicky. Bye.
Bye.